So let's talk about spiritual dimensions and what that actually means. Hi, my name's Elizabeth Eleanor, and I am an intuitive empath that works with women to really attract their divine partner and move into having conscious relationships without having to deal with narcissistic abuse and trauma and all the horrible things that we've all gone through at one stage or another in our life, so that we can really connect in with our higher self and our truths, so that we can draw in and beautifully attract beautiful, amazing relationships. So, how do you do that? Really, what we're doing here on the planet is we're ascending, we're moving and evolving into this beautiful place where we're moving out of third dimension into fifth and sixth dimension. So what does that mean? Let's break it down. Third dimension is the planet and where we are at the moment, right? So we come down onto this planet that is a third dimensional planet. Now, that means that we live in duality, right? So everything feels separate. We've got hot and cold, good and bad, right and wrong, good and evil, as they say, light and dark, all of those things, right? Us and them, right? We feel like I know who I am because I'm here and I can touch myself, and I know that you're over there and you're listening and you're watching on this screen, and we feel like we're separate, right? So there's this thing that the focus in third dimension is physical reality, right? Is all based in survival and is very much an ego-driven and very materialistic. It's all to do with what do we need to do to survive. The experience of it is life, right? Time and space, so linear. There's this past, present, and future experience, right? There's this cause and effect. So this, when I do this, this is the experience that happens from that, right? Some of the emotions that come from third dimension are things like fear, anger, competition. All of those things are aspects of the third dimension, right? Where you see something around, something that's not you, and we make judgments and assessments and decisions based on our previous life conditions, like from growing up in survival mode. As a child, we grow up and we have this thing where as soon as the umbilical cord is cut, now we're separate. Now we feel ourselves as needing warmth outside of ourselves, or nourishment, or shelter, love. We need food to survive, right? We need to be validated and appreciated and loved by external sources so that we feel like we are going to live and survive in this planet, right? And so we learn how to do that through our conditioning from our childhood, right? If I do this, I get praised. If I do that, I'm going to get into trouble. I'm going to get punished in some way. And so through that experience, you start learning how to work. I need to behave as a good girl or as a good boy, so that I'm appreciated and loved, and I'm treated well, depending on what that well means in your life, right? In your family. And so really, third dimension is all about feeling separate and feeling like you're broken in some way, because there's a lot of comparison in third dimension. Oh, I'm not as good as the Joneses, right? Because we don't have this, and this. We don't have all of the things that they have next door. And so therefore I feel less than in my family because, maybe you were ridiculed by the kids at school because you had less than, or the opposite way, right? Sometimes it's because you were rich, because you had the money, because, you had all of the love and the experience that you desired. And so sometimes that could have been the way you were ridiculed. And I know for a fact with women, often women, we find ourselves having the experience of being judged and criticized and that bitchy behavior of other women because we don't look the part, but also because we look the part too much, right? If you grew up and you were a beautiful little girl or whatever, and in my case I shone way too brightly and got too much attention, then that can be another reason for criticism, right? Is unfortunate, but that's the way third dimension is there's this us and them and this push and pull energy that happens with third dimension. So fourth dimension is when you're moving out of that. There's an awakening starting to happen. And it's like the transition from third into fifth, because fourth dimension is where you start becoming aware of that experience, that feeling of separation, and start being emotionally aware and questioning your beliefs, and releasing old patterns. Like maybe you've done some mindset training, maybe you've had the experience of past life regression or hypnosis or NLP or something that has given you a way of just starting to chip away, even recoding, which is what I do, chip away at some of those old beliefs, right? You start recognizing in fourth dimension that time is less linear. You feel it. You feel that things are starting to collapse a little bit. You start recognizing synchronicities more. You notice them a bit more. You start realizing that you're more than your physical body, right? And so there's this movement towards this ascension to these higher spiritual ideals. It's you start recognizing that there's more connection, so there's not as much space between you and somebody else, and so you have a little bit more compassion, and you're beginning to have a personal transformation and recognizing that you're more in control, right, of time, space, and creation. Now, going into fifth dimension, this is where the fun really begins, because fifth dimension is unity consciousness, and this is where unconditional love sits, right? So it's very much heart-centered. There's a lot of alignment with the higher self and creating with intention. This is when you start recognizing that when there's something going on in your external world, that it's a reflection of your internal world. And you start really starting to process and coming to that place of, if I'm making a judgment of someone external, then that's because I've got a judgment of myself, or there's some sort of shame, guilt, fear, something within that I need to look at and clear and neutralize to release that vibration so that I can raise back into unity consciousness, right? Time becomes more fluid, which is so cool. This is where you start collapsing time. Manifestation happens rapidly. There's no judgment. There's only love and understanding. And then you start really recognizing how you're living authentically and you're co-creating with everyone and the universe. And this is where you might even start recognizing that we are not alone here on this planet, on Earth, that there is a multiverse, that there is a cosmos of way more than what we experience here on this planet and in this universe, in this solar system, that there is many, many other beings, and that we are not the most intelligent planet in this whole, whatever, the whole cosmos. And we start recognizing that there is unity with these beings as well. And you might even have some sort of information, some channeling, as you start recognizing yourself as more than this body, more than this planet, more than this being. You start being able to interact with, potentially people that have already passed, your spirit guides, your higher self. There's this really deep connection with all of everything. And And this is where there's a lot of light starting to really fill your energy field. So I just want to touch again, on sixth dimension as well. So sixth dimension is where mastery really comes in, mastery of creation and your divine blueprint. And this is where a lot of the masters sat when they did, miracle healings like, Jesus and Buddha and, there's so many masters that I could share, that there's, where they actually saw you. So they saw the person that was in front of them that needed some sort of clarity, needed some sort of support in their health or whatever. The blind man can see again. The reason being is because when you're in sixth dimension and in that level of mastery, you do not go into those lower vibrations of brokenness and trauma with the person in front of you. You see them in their divinity. You see them in their highest and purest potential. And so therefore they come and rise to you, and everything dissipates that is, that needs healing, because now you're allowing, or not even allowing, you're being the example of a higher vibration, and they come to match you if they've got the ability, the consciousness is there, the openness, and the willingness, right? And because, even Jesus didn't heal everyone, and that's because not everyone had the faith and the knowing and the ability to raise to that vibration, right? At that experience, the sixth dimension is complete interconnectedness of all things. And this is where the soul, soul level guidance and alchemy really come in, and living with one's divine purpose, consciously creating from infinite possibilities of existence. And so this is when you start recognizing that you're just having one life of many at the moment, and that there is many, many other lives. And instead of just living in this life and what's happening this time, you're recognizing the soul's ability to correct and to hold more capacity of light. And so you're therefore looking from the soul's journey, rather than, which is a way bigger and more expansive experience and existence than just this one life, right? So time becomes way more the illusion, and you are now just looking at correcting the things that are holding you back from holding more and more capacity and ascending as a soul. So I would love to hear in the comments where you feel like you're at, where you feel like, have you actually ever had those experiences of those higher dimensions? If you've been watching me go through this, I'm doing 365 days of being on YouTube. And if you've been following, by the way, if you're interested and you'd like to keep following, then just subscribe and hit the notification bell for when we upload more videos. I would love to hear what your journey and your story is as you go along, and any questions that you might have, because some of the experiences that I've had with healing, with manifestation, clearing the 4.5 centimeter brain tumor. I did have it operated. Oh, by the way, I haven't told that story yet, so you'll have to watch because that's not a story that I've shared yet. That was super exciting, actually. Not many people can say they had a 4.5 centimeter brain tumor and had so much fun that I did, including I had a 5-figure payout come into my account that I was not expecting while I was laying in the bed waiting for my operation. The synchronicities and the miracles that happened in that were next level stuff, right? And I've had the same with a 15 centimeter fibroid. with, moving, with meeting my divine partner, all of those things. When you can step into those higher dimensions, creation is something that just becomes natural, because now you're co-creating with the universe rather than feeling separate from it. And you're living in this beautiful flow. And it's just a thrilling place to be. And it's why you want to be on the planet and in this physical body, right? By the way, another tip: when you're moving through the dimensions, doesn't mean that you stop existing on any of the dimensions. So, first dimension, we're mineral based, our skin, we are a carbon based being, right? Second dimension is plants and things like that. We have all of these layers and their foundations as we move into more and more capacity, right? So you don't stop being a physical being when you're living on a third dimension, but you can still access those fifth and sixth dimensions as you're living in this physical body, right? However, to do that, you actually need to be lighter. And that's one of the things that people don't understand, is that we are weighed down on the third dimension. We are weighed down with shame, fear, guilt, doubt, all of those sabotage beliefs that aren't just from us and our childhood and our conditioning from the world's beliefs and the views of others and whatever we were inputted in with our when we were a child. However, we've also got this from past lives, like hundreds of past lives, that can be holding us back if we are making the wrong decisions. And I say wrong in a term of, not what our soul would choose, but what our body is experiencing. And then you've got generational history on top of that, right? Generations and generations that have made specific decisions. And now it's like I call it the Mad Hatter's loop, right? Where it just comes back over and over again, like it's Groundhog Day. And so you're going backwards and forwards, doing the same thing over and over again, because it's in your blood lineage as well. So we have, and then on top of that, multidimensional aspects of us as well. So the more we can clear those things that are holding us back and pulling us down and weighing us like the tethered soul, when we can clean that stuff up, that's when we will find ourselves being able to elevate to those higher frequencies, right? And that's when, things like recoding come in, which is one of the most amazing modalities that I've experienced myself. I've been in the spiritual game for 27 years now. I did the past life thing for 7 years. Intense training. I've done a thing called EQT. I've just done, energy healing in general. Lots of different modalities tried and tested and all the things, and recoding is like the cherry on top of all of them, because of how quick it goes to the source and it neutralizes it from the source, which most take so much longer to actually implement. So take care. I hope you enjoyed that information. Love to hear. Give me a thumbs up if this is something that you found value in, and I will catch you tomorrow.